The president has signed an act with an order to release the Epstein files with a few strings attached. Find out when the public can expect to see them for themselves.
Holiday sales continue to rise. We give you tips on how to save.
This is Kent Stater TV.
And welcome to your Thursday Flashcast. I'm Tyler Schlosser.
And I'm Matthew Amon. Thank you for joining us this morning.
We start with some local news here in Kent. The Akron-Canton Food Bank is building pop-up food pantries for those in need.
Their most recent visit was here in Kent yesterday. KSTV's Sydney Brown has more.
Into a drive-through style pop-up food pantry once a month, but this November, the Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank says increases in need have made this month unprecedented.
We have brought more food than we've ever brought here before. We're prepared to serve approximately 200 households, 200 families. And normally we would serve more like 120 at this location, so a pretty dramatic increase.
With this increase in demand, you just need to provide a photo ID, and at a drive-through, just pop the trunk. But you may have to wait. Some locals were in line for over an hour.
It's taking an hour to get food because there's so many families in need.
But the food bank says they have been seeing these steady increases in need since before the government shutdown and changes to SNAP benefits. They typically serve 400 to 500 families at their main campus in Akron, but last week they saw close to 1,000 families.
So we are serving more people than we've ever served before right now. We're also purchasing more food than we've ever purchased before.
On campus, Flash is Fighting Hunger says they also couldn't run without the support of the food bank.
The people that we can't serve on campus, a lot of times we're able to serve them out here. This is a lot more of an accessible location for community members.
Now at Dick's Stadium, the line stretches all the way down and around the back side of the parking lot. And these increases are likely to continue as we head into the holiday season.
You just need a bag of potatoes, something to make it last for a while, and you can't even afford that. So when they do these, it's a blessing. It really is, because so many people are hurting.
First Energy, based out of Akron, has just been hit with a $250 million fine for a large-scale bribery scandal discovered 5 years ago. Former Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder and 4 associates allegedly received over $60 million in exchange for a $1 billion nuclear power plant bailout. First Energy has long since fired 2 executives implicit in the case who are awaiting trial.
Keeping you informed and ahead of the storm, this is your KSTV weather.
It is a bleak day outside. It's feeling more like winter every day. So let's check in on our upcoming forecast to keep you warm. So let's start here in the Northeast Ohio area. We look closer to Kent where we are. It's about 52 degrees. You head up more north near the lake. It's actually a little bit warmer, 57. Almost surprisingly here near Sandusky, it's about 59, almost 60 degrees. You head down south more, it's a little bit chillier, about 53 degrees at Akron, 55 in Worcester. But heading further, let's check out today's forecast. Today it's around 47 degrees out. Like I said, it was a kind of gross walk here. I had my coat, was still pretty cold. Definitely recommend bringing your winter coat still. Not very much wind though, which is surprising for a Kent State campus that is always windy. 5% chance of rain, so not much there. Let's check out tomorrow though. Tomorrow it is a low of 39 with afternoon showers. The sun sets at 5:01. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to the winter equinox, which means a further sunset. Definitely a pretty high percent chance of rain tomorrow, about 49%. But let's check out the upcoming extended forecast. Like I said, rain tomorrow. The weekend will be pretty nice, so definitely enjoy that. A little bit partly cloudy, obviously, as we get to fall. And there's a little bit chance of rain, 68% on Tuesday. But sadly, that is all the time we have for weather today. For KSTV, I'm Josh Zaramet. Stay warm, Portage County.
Thank you, Josh. President Trump has signed the bill mandating the release of all files related to Jeffrey Epstein. The law, titled the Epstein Files Transparency Act, states that Attorney General Pam Bondi release the files within 30 days. But it's not detailed how the files must be released, and Bondi has the authority to redact any information that could interfere with a federal investigation.
A former congressional staffer has been charged for staging her own assault back in July. The complaint alleges that Natalie Green, who worked under GOP Rep. Jeff Van Drew, paid an artist $500 to safely make dozens of cuts on her body. Green was found in the woods with her hands tied and racist political messages drawn on her and marker. Officers found matching zip ties in Green's vehicle and a receipt for the artist's work in their studio.
Holiday travel is ramping up, especially through flight. We give you the details after the break.
The Rockets won a big game last night over the Cavs. Find out who helped secure that win.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Your community.
Your stories.
With the shutdown over and the widely feared federal air traffic restrictions lifted, holiday travelers can rest a little easier when it comes to their plans. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't brace themselves, since 73 million drivers are expected to take the road for Thanksgiving. The busiest times to travel will likely be between noon and 8 p.m.
Black Friday is less than a week away, and economists have noticed a few ways people are expected to try and save a little cash. One of the biggest techniques professionals tell consumers is to do your research ahead of time, as getting less bang for your buck is becoming a common theme. Online shoppers who find deals are also urged to check where the items ship from, among other tips to keep your wallet a bit safer this holiday season.
This is your Kent Stater TV Sports Report.
Good morning, Kent State. I'm Josh Zermatt, and the NFL is creeping closer to the playoffs. But first, let's start right here on campus. Moving on to the gridiron, the Flash's football team fell to Central Michigan 28-16 last night in their final home game of the season. The team struggled offensively as Drew DeShields finished just 14 of 28. With this loss, Kent State will likely not make a bowl game, so the Golden Flashes will look to positively end their season at Northern Illinois next week. From college football to the pros, the Bills are taking on the Texans tonight on Thursday Night Football. The Bills come in at 7-3 and are coming off a high-scoring shootout win against the Bucs, while the Texans sit at 5-5, just barely beating the Titans last week. This game should be an easy win for Josh Allen and the Bills as they continue towards their major goal of winning the Super Bowl. And now we're going to head to the Rockets at Cavs at Rocket Arena. The Cavs have their cool throwbacks on today. We're starting the first, and Amen Thompson, a little up and under there, dodging Mobley's block attempt. There's 27-15 Rockets. Later in the second, Evan Mobley throws a little stiff arm out there too. Don't know if that's legal, but it counts. Evan Mobley had 18 on the day. Later in the second, it would be Steven Adams who tips it back to Kevin Durant, who puts a big three in to put the Rockets up 14, make this one not really game. And after the basket, a little extracurriculars there. It's Naquan Tomlin and Jabari Smith getting into it. Later in the third, Lonzo Ball is going to get it and confidently step back. That's a big three for him. It's a 72-65 game to the Rockets, and the Cavs slowly putting together a comeback. It's Donovan Mitchell once again, a deep three to cut this lead to 2, and the Cavs are in this one. But later in the fourth, it's Aaron Holiday who had a solid game, 18 points. He's fouled by Craig Porter Jr. for an and one. And that would all but do it as the Cavs lose 110-104 with continuing their season. The Rockets are off to an impressive start to the season, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have for sports today. For KSTV, I'm Josh Zermatt. Have a good day.
Thank you, Josh. There are only 7,000 cheetahs left in the wild, making them vulnerable to extinction. But the Smithsonian National Zoo has taken one more step forward in the right direction. Recently, one of their cheetahs named Mbala gave birth to 4 baby cubs. You can take a peek and see them for yourselves right now at the Smithsonian Cheetah Cub Cam. They do warn, though, that the mom tends to move her babies around, so you might not be able to see them each time you tune in.
Last night, Nashville hosted a who's who of country music fame with the 59th Annual Country Music Award. There were a few standout winners, namely Lainey Wilson and Cody Johnson, as female and male vocalists of the year, Ella Langle's You Look Like You Love Me as a single of the year, and Zach Top as new artist of the year.
So Matthew, you a big country fan at all? Anything like that?
Not a big country fan. I listen to a lot of screamo rock. That's what I'm into in the morning.
Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of overlap between those two markets. Really, the fans are usually the same.
There can be sometimes. Sometimes you'll see someone at a country fest, and then you'll also see someone down in the pit with eye makeup on. It's kind of interesting, really.
True. If there's ever a country music that you feel in the urge to, check out Coulter Wall, my personal favorite, little indie guy, but it's good country. Now, sadly, that's all the time we have for this morning.
For more KSTV, tune in tonight at 6 p.m. or check us out on the KenStater.com. I'm Matthew Hammond.
And I'm Tyler Schlosser. Have a good day, Portage County.